Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Greg Show. This is October 11th, 2025. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Yo, what's up, Sheet Happens? How are you? We got some cool stuff to go over tonight. We got a lot of stuff going over tonight. I want to go over, someone brought in some disinformation straight from the Capitol, the Senate hearings that are going on. We watched the whole 3 hours with RFK. So you know how I like it. I like to do primary sources. We're responding with the actual stuff, guys. We're responding to the disinformation agents themselves, right? And so we have his congressional testimony. We have his report. Report, I say that loosely. Report is just like a 5 paragraph essay that he wrote in Microsoft Office, and now they think it's like a peer reviewed journal article or something. Not cool. Not cool, guys. But not here, Jibby. Not here. Thank you, DB. Thank you. And I'm gonna go over that report, and I want to go over he had like I think it's like a 40 or 20-minute thing, so we can go over that, and then there's a bunch of news stuff. No news from South Carolina, guys. That's been a crazy story. I've I I hear this so much, but from everyone, like, nobody else is covering the story, but like, guys, like, nobody else is covering the South Carolina measles outbreak. I don't even, like, epidemiologists on TikTok and stuff. They're not doing it. It's one of the biggest measles outbreaks in 30 years, and it's like, oh, Joe Strecker, why are you doing that every time, bro? I know you say that every time. Yes, Ducray. I know everyone says that. I know everyone says that, but for real, guys, is anyone else talking about this? Is anyone else talking about it? Because I don't see it. I don't see it at all. It's very unhinged. It's very unhinged. It's not okay. Woo. Had to do some camera work. All right. Oh, what's up, Joe Strecker? Okay, cool. That's cool, man. Thanks for coming by, dude. Yeah, I don't know, weird. Okay. Okay. So you guys want to get right into the disinformation? So this one we're going to be following. We're going to be reading from a report, and then also we're going to be watching the testimony. So yes, ticklish tortoise. Yes, it is. Yeah, we're going right into vaccine parties. I mean, I love it. I love it. Well, you can stick around, Joe Strecker. You don't have to. It's chill, dude. You don't have to leave. What'd you get? Ticklish? What'd you get? Boom. Yes. Mrs. Dr. G, legend. Guys, Mrs. Dr. G is my first Patreon. Just want to let you guys know. So nice. I appreciate her making that decision all by herself. Very nice of her. And Ado. Thank you, guys. So thank you, guys. I appreciate you so much. For the Patreons, I do have like different things going on. So there, anyway. Oh, nice. Stephanie B, welcome in. I have a PhD in microbiology, and yeah. So Ticklish, what'd you get? Just the flu. Okay, Ticklish tortoise. 611 and 3, 2, 1. Yes. Sorry, guys. I have some princesses at the gates that are trying to get into the costume bin at when they should be going to bed. So, yeah, it's time. It's time to open up the door, the chest. Okay. Thank you for getting vaccinated. Ticklish. Good job. Sorry, did I do that? The princesses are at the door. Okay, so we got a guest, and then we'll do the we'll do it.
Sorry, I'm not like an opposition person.
That's cool.
Unfortunately, doesn't
That's cool.
add to the conversation.
We're good.
However, I will say that I think I I'm there's a very commonly employed tactic called the Gish Gallop. I'm sure you're
Yeah,
familiar, right?
for
Okay,
sure.
so you let it go, and I think everyone lets it go because a good faith discussion requires that you let people kind of like make their points.
Okay.
And so a lot of people tune in for their 2 seconds, and all they see is like, well, what about this scientist? And it's like this guy who like has like a YouTube channel that calls
Mm-hmm.
himself a scientist that says
Yeah.
like vaccines give you like 7 legs.
True.
And then now you are required to respond to this Gish Gallop. I've been a fan. You seem fairly recent in my For You page, but
Cool.
I've been a fan of how you engage with people.
Oh, cool.
But
Thanks, man.
I just but I kept seeing this. It seems I don't know what the solution is, but it seems like people I don't know what your politics are either. You're clearly just a person who respects science. I'm not going to say you're a leftist or a Democrat. I'll let you label yourself.
Mm-hmm.
However, it seems to be a common Democrat or left wing to like kind of like open the floor for discussion, and
Mm-hmm.
then the discussion floor gets just completely flooded by like just dipshits that just like yap like you're letting me do right now. I'm a dipshit and I'm yapping. Um, and you should just be like, yeah, you're wrong. That's wrong. And I asked a guy, he was talking about flat Earth today, and I
Mm-hmm.
just said I pulled up ninth grade uh a ninth grade Earth science quiz, and the first question was, "Are a atom and molecule the same thing?" And he's like, "Look, man, I don't know all the science." And I was like, "So you're gonna tell me that you understand the physics of like carbon dating,
Mm-hmm.
but you or the chemistry, I suppose, of carbon dating, but you just don't understand whether a molecule and atom are different." And so it's like we're having this discussion on this. It's like this separation of like a person who understands this, and then
Yeah.
the gap between trying to do it on a level with a person who totally doesn't understand it and will hear something that sounds, am I right? And then just accept that and tune out. And so I think that, I mean, you're doing way more than I am, but as a, like, raised in a trailer park, my whole family is trailer people. And I think these conversations, I'm like, they would not understand this. They wouldn't care. They would think you're some like schmuck, like, or you like arrogant doctor guy. I'm curious
Yeah.
how much like you think the impact is like here really where or are you bridging that gap there, do you think? I don't know.
I think Brittany was right. It's really about like how good faith the person's being, which is kind of like a I start with like kind of questions, and then I kind of see how like serious the person is about like delving into this area. I do understand that like having a platform where people can say that they've debated a scientist and they owned them in the epic war of ideals or whatever makes like science look bad. So once that has to happen, that starts to happen, then I start like to push their shit in a little bit, and kind of like
Yeah.
poke fun of it. So um, and I try to make it like funny at the same time. I'm not just like trying to berate them personally, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Hopefully in a way that like gives them some tough love. That's what I'm trying to do in those moments. So And I think that like Republicans actually do respond pretty well with that. Actually, I think that Democrats feel a lot of times that they um, have to kind of abandon positions or not fight for things in order to have people like them, and I think that that's not
Hmm.
true. Like Democrats can actually show more of a spine, and Republicans would actually like them more because of it. So like in those moments, that's what I'm trying to do. But I mean I don't do panels, you know, because of like what you're talking about. Like I did
Yeah.
it when I first started the first like week, and I had like some bad experiences where it felt like my own show was like being taken over, and it's like people are on here to talk to me. So it's kind of, I'm not trying to be narcissistic or selfish, but I'm trying to say that like I'm trying to do something different than other
You're the
people.
expert, man. This is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reason that
exactly.
people are tuning in is to
Yeah,
debate an expert. Yeah.
exactly. Or
Would
to have a
say,
conversation with me. You don't have to like debate
sure.
me,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
fine
No,
too,
yeah.
you know. So it's
I would say
yeah.
if
Go
my
ahead.
2 cents are worth anything, sorry, I'm talking over you. If my 2 cents are worth anything, if you could consider the level of dunking on someone, you have to think like, all right, you don't have to do anything. Can you consider that the level of literacy in America is like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a fourth or sixth grade level, right? On like
Yeah,
50 something percent of people, right?
it's
So
bad.
you dunking on this person might seem like, yeah, most people agree with you, but that's also your followers. And that's also like a small portion of people. People follow you because they have educations and they want to see educated people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really trying to tune in and level with these people, your dunks could be a little like more basic where you're like what is dirt made of or so, where like every idiot could be like, oh, this dumbass doesn't even know what dirt is, and then they're like, then because it's like it just seems like you're dunking on too high of a level where they're like, look at that dumb lib dude, he thinks that he knows everything. And it
Yeah,
just see a lot of creators that are like that, and I'm like, oh man, damn, that person didn't learn a thing from that. They
yeah.
just yapped and
I do
left.
think so. I think that like I do think that people are smarter than we take them for. I genuinely, I
Sure.
think that the average intelligence of human on Earth right now is actually a lot higher. It's just that they're being fed a lot of misinformation, and they're seeing things through headlines, and they're seeing through things through algorithms. So and they're being exploited at work, and their labor is being stolen, and they're coming home, and they are really tired and
Right, right.
exasperated, right? So it's like,
Fortunately.
um, so so what I try to do is that I'm trying to raise the level of discourse, like raise their scientific knowledge, not dumb
Okay.
everything down to their levels. You know, so it is, and when I talk about science and I explain concepts, guys, like I do add some jargon in there, but I hopefully explain the jargon as I go on so that you guys understand like it in the future. So if you ever see it, then you can understand it, because a lot of times misinformation will use jargon to kind of hoodwink you. So it's actually kind of like, one, it's education, and then two, it's like a little defense mechanism against misinformation. So I think that
You
um,
are you are very good about that. That's actually kind
thank
of
you.
why I followed you in the first place. So I guess my whole fucking I guess gripe
Hmm.
and advice piece was something that you're already kind of trying to do and cognizant of on over
Cool,
here.
man.
But well, thanks for having me up, man, and
Yeah.
keep doing the good thing. And I appreciate you. And I'll just be tuning in and not yapping anymore, but
No, all good, man. Yeah.
appreciate you.
Anyone's always welcome to join in and tell me. We can just hang out too. We don't have no debates or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever you guys want. So I appreciate those
Yeah, all
too.
right.
All right.
Good
Thanks,
luck,
man.
man.
Have a good one. Cool, guys. Thank you, guys. Always thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Always fun to have people that are like, because when I view streams and stuff, I'm like, I'm not even a chatter usually. You know, I'm usually just in the back, kind of like just watching. So if that's you, if you're a lurker, this place is, and you, the request option is open to you to join, and you can just come and talk to me directly. Don't think that you have to be an active chatter in order to, get, a place on the show or whatever. So, hey, Linda, how's it going? Dr. T's here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I agree, DB. You got to challenge them a little bit. Exactly. Yay! What's up, Augie? Yeah, exactly, guys. Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah. We're talking about disinformation right now. So, guys, I have a YouTube stream going on right now. So, I always stream to YouTube as well. But I say this because I'm normally not going over text or YouTube or videos, but today we are going to because someone actually linked some disinformation yesterday. I want to go over it so we can kind of have some background. I want to show you guys how you can debunk disinformation in real time. John, I think that it was more of just like a Tylenol causes autism, and if you have a cut, then you're gonna have Tylenol because he thinks that they gave babies Tylenol after they were circumcised, which is just not correct. So it's just adding on to the disinformation kind of thing. Disinformation about vaccines on this one, or the double-blind placebo studies that he has. So we're gonna talk about it. That's what we do. That's what we do here. Y'all know how it is. All right. So unfortunately, these Senate hearings are being used, guys, as a way to solidify conspiracies in the anti-vaccine space. And what's happening is they're using these Senate hearings to platform people that are just wrong about science. But now that they've gone to this platform and they've had the Senate hearing, now they're legitimized. So people go and actually just say that this guy has testified in front of Congress, so therefore now he's legitimized. I mean, we had that happen yesterday. I'm not just making that up. People are actually saying that. So, and you can upload things when you go and are asked to be a panelist on one of these Homeland Security Governmental Affairs Senate subcommittee meetings. You're asked to submit an opening statement. Okay, so what they do with these disinformation pushers. Sorry, disinformation is the original information that is put out. Okay, someone that hears disinformation is misinformed about that and then spreads that misinformation amongst themselves. So the spigot is the disinformation, and then the water that flows out is the misinformation, and the water is then spread, right? And these algorithms and these streams and stuff like live in that misinformation. If they're actually creating the disinformation, the disinformation, the originator of the misinformation itself, that is the disinformation agent. So that's why in general, this actually goes back to the caller. I am ruthless with the disinformation agents themselves, right? We are ruthless to the people that are actually creating this nonsense. But someone that is misinformed and unknowingly repeating false things, that is the victim, right? The victim heard something that is wrong that they think is correct, and they genuinely think that it is something that is correct, so they're repeating that. But that we can understand, that we can be sympathetic for. But the disinformation agents themselves know that they are lying, know that they are being dishonest, and that's why we are ruthless with them. Hey, Detroit. How's it going? Yeah, exactly, Kathleen. No problem. All right, guys. So follow along on the YouTube. But I'll try to we will go through, and so this is given to me by someone yesterday, as this was his guy. This was someone that they thought that could do no wrong. That this was wait, someone got vaxxed? What? Ooh. Who? Did someone get vaccinated? Did I miss one? How can we tell the originators from the repeaters? Debate doc, that is a really interesting question. It's a very, very, very rarely that you meet someone on the internet in just regular conversation or a content creator that is the originator of the disinformation. It's usually the thing that they are sourcing from. So you normally, when you ask them, like, where did you find this? How did you find this? It's a YouTube or it's something else. And that is the disinformation agent. So that's why we always ask, hey, how did you hear about this? Why do you believe this? What do you think is that? And then they'll some type of, anti-vaccine documentary or something like that. Melissa, I love it. Daughter and I, that is amazing. A vaccine, that is, daughter and I got double vaccinated. That is, guys, get your flu shots, get your COVID boosters. The flu one is especially important this year. There's a lot of people that are young that are dying because of it. So they're pushing it. Even RFK, even the CDC is recommending everyone 6 months and above to get the flu vaccine this year. Even RFK, guys. So we're up at 6:15 because of Melissa being a good mom. And 3, 2, 1. Yes. Good job, Melissa. You are a good parent. You are vaccinated. And vaccinating your children is always the right move. Thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. It is always the right move as a parent to vaccinate your child every single time. And we love and appreciate people who get vaccinated in this community because you're a patriot, you're pro-life, you're looking out for others, and you're helping save the 5 million a year. 5 million people a year are saved from vaccines, guys. Over 30 diseases. It's amazing. All right. Christy, if you believe so, you should request up and we can talk about it. You're more than happy to talk about it if you want. Okay, guys. So we're going. So again, YouTube stream or Twitch. If you guys like Twitch, actually, in a weird way, I'd actually, if you had both, on Twitch would actually be better, because I'm trying to get like some milestone or something. I need like 3 people on my Twitch thing. Melissa, oh my gosh, that you are an amazing family of scientists, dude. That is what a pedigree. What that is incredible. What are your family dinners like? I would love to hang out with you guys. That would be so incredible. That is so cool, man. That is, have a whole family of people that are just working in order to better the community and give back to building on the shoulders of giants. That's amazing, Melissa. You are so lucky. You are so lucky. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you for the Twitch follows. Gina, because it is the safest way to do it. It's very important because a lot of moms, because we don't fund healthcare in this country, so a lot of moms actually don't know that they have Hep B, and then they pass it on to their child. And a Hep B infection at an infant stage is a lifelong chronic condition. So that's why we do it. It's way safer just to vaccinate kids and infants. Yeah. Nice, tall guy. I appreciate you. Yeah, Melissa. Me too. Honestly, that was a big thing growing up. I knew I was growing, and when I was able to debate with my family members at Thanksgiving, it was really cool. It's cool. One of the reasons why I started reading the paper at like seventh grade in order to better understand the world was because of those moments. So, yeah, I totally agree. Robin, so I came in on the tail end, but are you convincing people? I'm not convincing people. We're using science to show people why it's a really good idea. And we are very pro-vaccine. These are, guys, if you're new here, these are the vaccines that we've gotten, just our community. These are just the vaccines that our community alone has gotten. So, yes, Gina, most infants get it through the act of being born. So no, infants aren't getting it by sexually transmitted diseases. They're getting it through the act of having a baby, which is where babies come from. So babies come from the place where women. Never mind. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to ruin the surprise for you. So you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. All right, guys. Did I miss one? Oh my gosh. Hey, it's Aaron. It's Aaron, guys. Hey, what's up, dude? This guy is so crazy. It's crazy how many fake followers this guy has. And he's paid had these fake followers, and then he like comes in here every time. He's getting like hundreds of views. Like someone with 200,000 followers is getting like 4,000 views. He's just getting as many views as I get on his stuff. The dude's obviously paid stuff, paid for his follower count. It's wild, man. It's so crazy. It's so funny when you see that stuff. It's just so obvious. Anyway, cool, Aaron. Nice, man. Oh my gosh. Kudzu, I'm sorry to hear, man. Yeah, Keisha, thank you. Thank you, Keisha. I saw that follow on Twitch. Your little thing came up. I love it. Nice. Chupacabra. Yeah, Gina, they don't know if the mom's negative all the time. That's the problem. They come in without the proper prenatal care. So, that we don't have fully paid for medical back prenatal care in this country. So that's why we do that. All right. Okay, guys. All right. So let's talk about it. Okay. Oh, Shadowcat, thank you for asking. I appreciate you. This is, it's a Dr. Greg show. So, yeah, sure. Yo, what's up, Big Doc? How's it going, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Good.
So Gina, just to like expound on that, the kind of testing negative thing. First off, many moms, won't, as Dr. Greg said, necessarily have undergone the appropriate prenatal testing. So having it be a blanket policy is just kind of the safest option, and it's safe and effective. And also, it's helpful for them to just have, immunity themselves, moving forward in life, kind of above and beyond being protected against like neonatal exposure and the development of chronic Hep B. But
it's a chronic infection, right? It's like 90% of infant infections are chronic exposures versus like 10% as an adult. I mean, what is a chronic infection, I guess? Like compared, like what are you dealing with?
Yeah, so when you get infected by the hepatitis B virus, it's obviously affecting hepatocytes. And when you get it as an adult, most of the time it's an acute infection. So you develop acute hepatitis B, and then your body clears the infection. And like you said, there's about like a 10% rate of the development of like chronic Hep B. When you get exposed as a neonate, you have a much weaker, more naive immune system. And so you actually may not even develop kind of an acute Hep B sort of presentation. But yeah, there's about a 90% chance that the virus will just go on to remain like dormant in your liver. Not even dormant, kind of latent in your liver. And just kind of slowly cause, cirrhosis over time. And your immune system just is never able to clear it.
I'll be right back. Keep talking, dude.
Kind of similar to a Hep C presentation. So yeah, like Hep C is very infrequently an acute infection, much more commonly a chronic infection. So kind of a similar picture between Hep B and Hep C if you develop chronic Hep B. But Gina, to kind of like, oh, I did not know that chronic Hep B will make you more susceptible to Hep C. Yeah. So Gina. So about someone that's been tested. So there is this thing called the window period after Hep B infection. So what happens is when you get initially infected with hepatitis B, and this is true of like really any infection, the first antibody that your body will make is IgM. This is true for any infection. So you make this kind of more non-specific, but like kind of pentavalent, like, it's got more binding sites. It's kind of this large pentavalent IgM molecule. So it's like kind of the first antibody when you first get infected. It's not a specific, but it can bind a lot of it, or like kind of a lot of antigens. And so that's kind of like the sort of initial, less specific defense that your body produces in response to an infection. And then over time, that IgM response slowly transitions to an IgG response. But there is this period. So the thing that we test for when we test for Hep B is the Hep B surface antigen. And that's really what your body develops IgG antibodies to. Those are like the specific antibodies. And so in the acute infection, you'll have a lot of hepatitis B surface antigen floating around, and your body will not have really produced, again, that kind of robust IgG response that will bind up all the Hep B surface antigen, right? But there's this transition period where your body's ramping up the production of the anti-surface antigen IgG, and so there's this window period wherein you're producing enough anti-surface antigen IgG that you're binding up all of the available hepatitis B surface antigen, but it's like binding up all of the available anti-surface antigen IgG. So you're going to test negative for the anti-surface antigen IgG because it's all being bound up by the actual hepatitis B surface antigen, and you're going to test negative for the surface antigen because it's being bound up by all of that anti-surface antigen IgG. So there's this critical window period where you can have the infection, you can, actively be infected, be, an acute infection, but test negative for both the antibody and the surface antigen. And so, there'd be no way of knowing that you were infected or, had been infected at that time. And so that's kind of the reason why if you just have like one negative test, it's not necessarily sufficient to say you don't have a Hep B infection. If you had multiple tests over time, like if you were serially tested for Hep B and you repeatedly tested negative, so you could say pretty definitively you're not in the window period, that you didn't have false negatives, then I guess theoretically you could probably avoid it. But why go through all that effort when you could just kind of prophylactically give the Hep B vaccine, and then again, above and beyond being protective against neonatal Hep B, the child will also be immunized against Hep B. So that's the rationale.
Nice. Thanks, man. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You always
Welcome.
get that. That's like a very common one, so I'm happy to always have you. Thank you for explaining that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's super interesting. Like the window period is like a pretty fascinating phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't even. It's interesting. They were talking about it in the other countries. I was watching the ACIP panel, and they were talking about, in comparing. I mean, the pro-vaccine people were talking about like what other countries do, and basically all these other countries have way more extensive prenatal screening, like way more people that are getting screened earlier in their course of pregnancy, so they have all that work done. So it's like, it is kind of like a Band-Aid kind of fix thing, but in reality, at the end of the day, it does get someone vaccinated early on, and it's something that they need to be done anyway. So it's like it's a fix to a problem because of the other countries aren't doing this, but at the same time, it's something that needs to get done anyway. So it kind of like works out. You know what I mean?
So instead of doing the first, because I think it's a 4-shot series, so instead of doing the first shot
At 6
at
months,
birth, do they do the?
they
Okay,
do it a little later.
all right,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Exactly.
But clearly, there's no harm in doing it at birth. So
Exactly. So it's like, it's just one of those things that it's like they get all the other vaccinations done. They don't have a problem with the anti-vaxxers that we do, so they get it all done kind of at that point, and then they don't have the false negative test problem, and they have all the prenatal screens done. But we just don't have. I mean, we don't have a fully funded medical industry in this country.
Yeah.
You know, it's robust and it exists, right? But people don't have access to it because of the high costs. So that's how people slip through the cracks. You know, there's a lot of people that wind up and come to the emergency room that have abdominal pain, and turns out that they're 3 weeks, their third trimester pregnant. And why? That's because they're obese. They're drug addicts. You know, and that happens a lot, guys. That happens a lot. There's a lot of people in the country where that is the case. So what are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to fix 60% of the country's obesity overnight? Or are you going to fix our drug problem overnight? Or are you going to figure out a way that we can, like, you know, just help these people and improve their quality of life today? And that's what the vaccine does. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't see a downside. Even in these other countries, I really can't see a downside.
Yeah.
Even with robust, more robust prenatal screening.
Exactly. I mean, you're doing it when they need it the most, when they're the most susceptible. I mean, that's So.
And like, even with good screening, I mean, at least here, I think the first set of like kind of STD / kind of like mother, like a kind of like placentally transmitted disease, like screening, the first screening, it takes place like late first trimester, like 14 weeks or something like that. And then I think the second one takes place like late third trimester. I think like 36 weeks is the recommendation. So, if a term pregnancy is 40 weeks, like there still is room. I mean, hopefully you're not doing anything that would really, get you exposed to Hep B in that interim. But like, there still is, time where something could happen. Like, you're not getting screened like in the labor and delivery suite. So I really don't see a downside, because the alternative is devastating.
Exactly. Well, Debate Doc, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, man. Have a good night.
Appreciate you too.
Peace. Yeah, Joe, we just talked about it, bro. You can get false negatives. The screening period is a couple days. Again, like, it's just that's what it is. All right, guys. So we are going to look through this. So this is this guy. So in the mount and to battle all of virology, all of microbiology, all of immunology, all of epidemiology, stands alone Aaron Siri. This is the guy that is going to be the truth sayer. This is the guy that these anti-vaxxers are going to. And this is a guy... Thank you guys for the follows on Twitch. I appreciate you. Guys, we are live on YouTube and Twitch. If you guys want to watch it in higher definition, so you can know what's going on. This is the guy. So he is one of these guys, one of these grifters who he wasn't a good enough lawyer in his life. So what he does is that he goes on right-wing talk shows. So he's making appearances on Newsmax and Tucker Carlson, and he's going on News Nation and Fox News and all these right-wing podcasts because Dr. Greg show everywhere, and these anti-vaccines. So these people are getting paid for disinformation. This is exactly what these anti-vaxxers that come in here that say that I'm getting paid by Pfizer, that I'm getting paid by Moderna. This guy is literally getting paid by the anti-vaccine squads, by the way. So this guy is the actual source of this nonsense, and he's getting paid to peddle this stuff. And he's being brought on as an expert, even though he's a what? No medical training, no scientific pain. Well, Joe, I don't know if you realize, but you get paid to go on these shows, bro. You get paid by Newsmax, and you get paid by these things in order to make appearances. So he's getting paid in order to do it. Yeah, this is a lawyer, and he's not even he's a civil litigation lawyer. He's not even he's not even like a medical malpractice lawyer. Like there's so many. I guess medical malpractice is one of the things: civil rights, class actions, employment litigation, immigration, malpractice, medical malpractice, vaccine injury. That must be it. Hilarious. Okay, so here is his testimony. So this is exactly, Ashley, just some random guy that wasn't making enough money and figured that he wanted to try to grift as an expert on this. So now he has become an expert out of nowhere, out of wholesale cloth, and he is going to somehow be an expert to take on all of the fields. Why do they want people to be anti-vaccine? I think that's a really good question, Diane. I think it's like they're basically authoritarian bootlickers. That's the best way to put it, is that they hate science because science is an alternative path of gaining knowledge, and they want to dismantle scientific credibility because they want to be the ones that they go to and say, oh, it's right because he says so. And guys, I just want to be clear. I don't think that you should believe me on anything. Okay? I don't think that you should believe something because I said it. Genuinely. I don't think that I want you to just take what I say wholesale cloth. I would love it. I would love it if you took what we were talking about and read Warby 2022 on your own, or Picard 2022 on your own, or Chris Christoph 2024 on your own, and to try to see what was going on, and because then maybe I could elucidate something that I didn't know, right? Exactly, because reading is what? Fundamental. So I think that I'm not trying to make an argument that this is what you believe, so you should believe it. I'm saying that this is what science as an institution believes. So believe science altogether and all the process that science creates. That's what you should believe. Not some random person on TikTok right now. Not me. Genuinely. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So this is a 12-page document, and we'll go through and we shall read it, people. And look at this, just tons of nonsense. So okay, so let's work. So when you read something, disinformation, or when you read something in general, what are we looking at? We're looking at what's the format, what are they actually doing, right? What are they showing here, right? Yeah, genuinely, Deanne. Yeah, I would love it. I'm not trying to make it an argument that you believe something that just because I say it. I would love for fact check me, because sometimes I get things wrong, guys. I mean, I've had people in chat that have looked up what I said, and I got a fact wrong or a little piece wrong, and I was like, oh, thank you for letting me know, because I love to learn. And the first step of learning is failing. So me not saying something correct is actually a place that I can learn, and I really appreciate that. So this is his hearing. So the hearing's titled "How the Corruption of Science Has Impacted Public Perception and the Policies Regarding Vaccines." and he is the managing director, the managing partner of Siri Glimstad LLP, which has over 100 professionals. They have before our executive consumer and privacy class action practice, our firm has a large practice focused on vaccine-related work, including hundreds of lawsuits related to vaccine injury exemptions policy and transparency, including the frequent and voluminous suits against these health agencies. First thing, guys. First thing. What stands out there? I thought you weren't allowed to sue these companies, guys. Remember that? All these anti-vaxxers say that you're unable to sue any of these companies, right? I guess you can. This guy's saying over half of our work is just suing these things. There's so many problems going on, guys, that we're able to just, our whole practice is these things. That's what he's saying. What do you think? Seems like he's wrong there, huh? Seems like that's a little weird. All right. Next. Oh, what? Okay. Weird. Oh, man, I'm not on YouTube.